moments when I envision harming somebody in some way. That these things do happen, and it's real. Think back to the last time when you really thought you wanted to wish harm on somebody, and sit with that emotion for just 1 second, and try to remember what it was doing to you. Right? Coretta Scott King said that hating someone hurts the person who's doing the hating more than it hurts the person who you're hating. Right? Doc says it's like drinking poison hoping the other person would die. Right? King, there's another great King quote. He says, I've chosen to go with love, that hate is too heavy of a burden for my heart. Forgiving someone is not something you do because it's a nice thing for them. It's something you do because if you carry that inside of yourself, that's going to affect everything you do in your life and in your work. And holding that anger and holding that desire for vengeance is violence unto yourself. It's that internal violence in the spirit. So when we talk about nonviolence, it's not just about nonviolence and behaving nonviolently to other people, but we got to watch out what we're doing to ourselves, right?
I got to bring one more place too, my man. Any of y'all here stuck with a song in your head that you hate? And you don't know how it got into your head, but it just keeps playing over and over. Right? It's never your favorite song. That's just like those negative self-thoughts that we have about ourselves. Like negative self-talk, that hate that just keeps playing over and over in our minds. It destroys our creative capabilities or attacks our spirit, our internal violence. And when we're harboring that violence, as Kazu just shared, it affects everything that goes on in our lives.
Carry that with us, bro.
Just because we call ourselves nonviolent practitioners, shoot, don't mean that. I mean, I'm getting better at getting that thought through faster.
Can someone read the last principle?
All together now.
You don't believe that?
Yes.
Why? All this violence you see in Chicago?
Guys don't work together, that's why.
Say that again?
Guys don't stand up together.
Chicago doesn't stand up together?
If they did, it won't be happening.
Okay. Some people aren't focused on the universe? What do you mean about that? Seriously, violence is unnatural somehow.
Exactly.
It's not a couple more hands. You have something? No?
Humility and realizing how strong you are compared to the rest of the universe. Because the universe is going to operate with and without you. But what you're going to do on this planet while you're here, it will affect your fellow human beings and probably the natural world.
Do you all know Father Greg Boyle from Homeboy Industries? Homeboy Industries is the country's largest gang intervention organization. They employ about 500 people. I was on an event with him a couple weeks ago, and he was saying when working with these kids, the most important thing is to infuse them with hope for a future, that they actually have something to work towards. Because if you don't have that, then they're not afraid of dying tomorrow. Right? They're willing to go out and do whatever they got to do to get theirs because they're not worried. They don't have hope that they're going to have a successful life and live to see their grandkids. So, in a sense, they've already given up on their own future, right? And if you don't have that hope, you have nothing to look forward to. You have no reason to try to work hard. And in this movement, I think we see some of the best in society, but we also do see some of the worst when you're doing this work. And it's easy to give up and say, you know what, nothing we're doing is working. But so if you let go of that hope, if you stop believing for 1 minute that the universe is not on the side of justice, even in the midst of all the craziness that's out there, what's the alternative? Right?
And if you think that pebble that you throw into the ocean has no ripples, what's the point?
And so it's so important as community leaders when you're working with your community to always infuse them with that sense of hope that the universe is on the side of justice. Because the full quote is that the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards the side of justice. So it's a long path that we're on. And we're going to waver back and forth as we're on that path, but as you keep going, Dr. King always had faith that ultimately it will bend towards the side of justice.
I wanted to just share some of my cousins, just, again, like, I don't put myself out there, I usually don't get something back. And I've had moments in this country and in other countries that were horrific, that I was in the middle of, that I survived from sitting here. But honestly, I had some doubt about the universe being on the side of justice, just being real straight up. And what got me through that moment wasn't trying to convince myself, no, it does. I was like, well, I'm not sure it does, because look at all this that happened, and I'm not sure what came out of that, but a whole lot of dead folks. So the way I got through that, just saying for me, was basically saying, what kind of person do I want to be? Just because I couldn't even see a bigger picture of the universe on the side of justice. Hang in there, guys. Like, I couldn't hear it. I mean, it was messed up. I couldn't hear it. I was like, yeah, I know you're not going to repeat that again. But it was just like, okay, I don't really know what God is at this moment, but I'm just going to, there's a way that I want to be. I'm going to try to be that tomorrow. That's really all I can do. I just, it hasn't been enough for me. It's a little bit of a self-criticism. I'm just putting it out. There were times when they couldn't convince me, and I'm like, absolutely.
Thank you, Coach. I think what's important that you said is that you found the universe, God, whatever you want to call that thing, which as we as humans should all reach for, that higher power in yourself. And I think first and foremost, we have to find in ourselves that ability to walk that fiery line, no matter where it leads us. And we have to understand that, we don't know why we're here, and we don't know what our purpose is. Dr. King died at 30-something. Okay, that was brilliant, 30 years. Brilliant 30 years. I mean, I thought about it from the point of view where he said, in about 30 years, I think we'll have a black president. And Kennedy said in about 40 years, we have a black president. And I said, you know what, if both of them had lived, we may have had a black president in 10 years. But we had to deal with what we had to deal with, what we were handed. We were handed all those assassinations, including X and Edgar and all of those people, because we had to work through it this way. So when you see the people who were killed in Arizona and all the rest of the stuff, that is meant to teach us, and we have to be proud of the offerings that were made for us to get to this place.
Let's comment and then Pam will wrap us into some lunch.
Back on the universe thing, it made me think about how I kind of focused on the Adam and Eve, and in the beginning, the evil existed. Really, again, back to it's a path that you take and how you control yourself in whatever is going on, because you live in certain types of energies and environment that's going on around you. So it's going to be up to you as an individual to take whatever control and how to elevate yourself above the negativity of what's going on. And I think it was when the evil component came in that just gave you a choice. Either you're going to obey or you're not going to obey. So it's really up to, you all of this. Or everybody determine what you have to undertake. And what you say, I can't even think of it right now, but the maneuvering out of whatever role and the crossroads that we have to take in whatever situation it is.
Thank you. Okay, shake it up for the deepness of the conversation. That's great. Well, now we'd like to, we're a little bit behind schedule, so we'd like to give you guys a choice for lunch. Crossroads generally provide a pizza in the back. During lunch, would you like or we had a short 17-minute video on the Nashville sit-in movement that talks about how the young people were training for that movement. Okay, wait, there's one more choice. Or you guys continue here in introductions to get to know each other. I feel like you guys have remember the period introductions that we didn't have to finish this one. So what would you like to do? Okay, so eat while the video's going? Okay, sounds good. We'll run it.
Marcus, would you like to give me your comment on camera? I saw you had your hand up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I believe as far as the number 6 principle, in order to have the universe lean towards justice, I feel like as this society, people like country only help people because they have interest in the country. I came from a country that experienced 14 years of civil war. I'm sitting in my country wondering why, as a kid, wondering why nobody comes to our aid, you know? So if the universe is for justice, I believe that we have to, as other countries have to stop trying to help countries because there's an interest. And that principle work very well.
Pretty much self-evident. But thank you for sharing that. But before you go, it's interesting that we're at Dr. Martin Luther King celebrating nonviolence, and you have on your shirt "No More Peace." So I know you're going to explain that to me, what that means.
Well, the shirt is very fashionable.
Okay.
But was that I think the shirt sent out a message because we're living in a war where there's a lot of conflict going on. So basically, the shirt is trying to fulfill that.
Okay, kind of like reverse psychology.
Yeah, because we don't have peace. We don't live in peace. This is not a peaceful society. So, from my definition, because I represent the shirt that I'm wearing, so basically that's what the shirt entails.
Okay, well, thank you so very much. Now enjoy your pizza and your video.
Yeah,